What's up, guys? So today was the day that, see, I got grouchy with our SVS, and then I realized, oh no, now we can go to Furnace level 8. Just when you think you're done at 5, no, it doesn't stop. And so now the crystal laboratory, it is 20 fire crystals to make a single refined fire crystal, and, of course, you're wondering, well, okay, so what do you got to do for that? You need 10 super refined crystals. That's basically like saying you need 200 fire crystals in order to do one level, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I got to do like that 5 times. So 1,000 fire crystals and another 1,000 fire crystals. So it's kind of crazy. But in case you're wondering, and you want like a general opinion of what I think a lot of people in the Discord have said over time, it's that the furnace upgrades make more sense to do than it is to do like T11. Because the cost in T11 is kind of outrageous, and you'll spend a lot of time getting the shards and everything. So a lot of people have always suggested that what you do is save your fire crystal for this exact reason. At this point in time, once this unlocks, you should probably be super refining instead of trying to get T11, unless you're just, you're already in the thick of the major fighting going on in the game. Now, I did have some people that were kind of like, you should look at your state and see the mess that is brewing. And I'm like, I have not been paying any attention to the politics of this entire situation, but as you might imagine, HYV's got control of the stronghold, and if you guys have been paying any amount of time or attention, you would probably know that Core has been around for ages. And it is a bit interesting now that, okay, things have kind of had a shakeup. HK's number 5, and we're not far from the bottom, but we're not, from the top either. And you can see a lot of members of TOA are gone. But, of course, Core is kind of up and about, and they're doing okay. They don't seem to be doing in any more rough shape than we are. But they've got Pluto and a bunch of other players, so they're in their own spot in time. Now, you guys probably are wondering, well, hold on, when are you healing? It's like, guys, kind of hard to freaking heal here these days, man. It's like, even though I healed as much as I did, that part of the problem is that you can only heal so many of those troops back. And while I did save, I think a little over 60 to 70% of what I had, there's still a large chunk of it that's I need 10 more assists, but I'm probably not going to get that extra 10%. So I'm going to lose, a little more than I normally would. And it is what it is. But it's, the dent that it has on my account is obviously going to remain. There's no joking about that. Now, of course, escorts are going around. So now this is, again, one of the times where you need to basically actively go out, look for people that you can raid and hit their trucks. So you know how the event goes. As far as arena and the dock and everything else is going, of course, state versus state always proceeds to state transfer not long after, right? And people can transfer now if they want to go move around and go different places. And this is one of the few times where now that I've actually lost a ton of might, it's like, oh, hey, if I wanted to move, it's pretty cheap now compared to what it normally is, right? So it's like, I guess that is kind of an option, but I don't think I will. I just don't have any desire to move right now. There's just no reason to. But a lot of what I can say about the game at this point in time, though, is it's like, okay, knowing that you can run into players like that, you obviously want to make sure you shield prior to SVS. That's just a lesson in this game that almost everybody knows by now. Of course, the quinky dink with that is that, well, yes, you can do so much in terms of trying to heal your stuff. I will say that once you get to my point in the game, right, and you're several months in, I think going up in furnace upgrades is probably the way to go, as opposed to just going into T11. I barely scratched T11s, and I'm already I just don't see me getting to it without a significant chunk of fire crystal being dumped into it. And even then, you'd have to spend to be able to do it. It's just not achievable. It's not really achievable. I mean, you can, obviously, when you're playing the game, you can go out and do your intel missions and stuff. And you get crystals this way. You can obviously get your shards and everything. You can build up that way relatively quickly. But again, I did have somebody ask me, like, why is your office capacity so crazy high? And it's interesting because, I was looking at that and I was like, that I'm actually not really sure. Because you can see that my capacity is at only, it's only at like 230. So why, when it was shown the office capacity was as high as it was, I don't really know. Because I've only got 925. So it's 200K times 4, which is about 800K, a little more and change. So why it was like up that high, I don't know. I think it might have just been because SBS temporarily, during the event, you get a boost, I think, if I remember right, in your enlistment office with the buff if you win the phase. And I think this is why. So for those of you that were wondering, like, why is your enlistment office so big? That's why. But other than that, yeah, it's going to take a little while to kind of get back into the shape of things, but it's like anything, I'm basically now focusing in on trying to do furnace upgrades and such. Of course, there's more on the way. I've got Hector going here, so we're gonna hopefully get this guy all the way up to a max, and then we'll be finally with a maxed out Hector, so that'll be nice. But yeah, I mean, just in the grand scheme of things, guys, just pay very close attention to the events and such that are coming along the way, because I'm sure you guys probably saw the video, and if you haven't, you probably got a message in game. So I'm keeping tabs. I haven't really seen what exactly we have coming down the road, but obviously we have Mia coming up here pretty soon. I mean, I'm just paying very close attention because I have a feeling we've got more events on the way. And for that reason, it's like, okay, I know that that's coming or something is changing, right? And so for that reason, you got to stay peeled and continuously do our upgrades, and hopefully with any luck things will work out. But for those of you out there that are doing your state transfers and everything, always take this with a grain of salt. But whenever you do decide to transfer from state to state, the one thing that I always like to remind myself is that whenever you do migrate from one state to another, you invite yourself to an entirely new group of players. And that's totally an option, especially if you find yourself in a state like mine where, maybe it's not as active and you'd like to move to one that is. Naturally, that's each other's choice. But in any case, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.